Welcome again to a Hooked on Scouting video about two activities you can do that both involve knots. The one is called the canoe game, and it's suitable for your Cub Scouts or even AOLs. They'll enjoy playing it too. The second is called knot drop. Knot drop really is better for Scouts BSA or AOLs, but they're both fun activities to have and things that you can use beyond just your recruiting meetings, because knots are something Scouts do all year long. So let's talk about first the canoe game. I'm going to show it to you and also then show you how you play it and how you build the board. So the canoe game. So the directions for the canoe game are in the linked in with all these materials. So it's very easy to play. So first, directions are helpful. Well, let's show you. So first of all, you're going to need this lovely game board, which I'm going to show you how to make. You can use stamps, you could draw the whole thing, you could even just print out the pattern that we're going to go load up, but it's nice to do the canvas game board. You need one dice for this game. You need some markers of some kind. These are just little colored stones that work just fine. And then you need little pieces of rope. Now the rope again are not that big. I think they're about 6 inches. I haven't measured them, but I'll have it in the directions. So you need several of those pieces of rope for this game. Right, so how you play the game is that Scouts take turns rolling the dice, and they roll so they have their marker on the board, and the object of the game is to make a rope long enough to tie up the canoe, and because the Scoutmaster needs help, he needs to tie up the canoe, and the rope has to reach from one end of this canoe all the way to the other, from dot to dot. So they have to collect rope pieces and tie them together with a square knot to do that. And how you collect the rope pieces is that you roll the dice, you move along the path, the paw path, and anytime you land on a tree, you get a piece of rope. So that's how it's played. Now, a couple things about the game board is you'll see that there are parts where you go left or right. That's important. You need to be able to make decisions, and then they can count out when they get a dice. Okay, if they go this way, they might land on a tree. So there's a little strategy involved. So simple strategy, but strategy. So you need to have path options. So that's important when you're building the game board. Another thing you need to have is, so what if you get all the way to the end and your dice roll just has not let you get enough rope to build the rope that you need to get to the Scoutmaster? You need an ever-ending loop that the Scouts can go in and just keep going round and round until they have enough rope. And then the third thing you need is the flyback path. How do you get back to camp? Well, here you go. Here's the flyback path. Here it's got some birds. So there's two ways to get up to the flyback path. Here on this side at the end. And then there's a shortcut. Man, if you're just super lucky and you have all your rope, then you can take the shortcut up. And the first one back to camp wins the game. So very, very simple. So how do you build this game? All right, well, you start with a blank piece of this canvas. It can be light colored. This happens to be white. And then what I like to do is map out my flyback path, or map out the paths after I start. So, but let's build camp first. So you can use stamps. This is a little tent stamp. So that works. Or you can just write camp. You don't have a camp stamp. That works as well, and draw little tents. So camp's on this end of the board. I happen to have this big tent stamp, and I have way too many things like this. Anyway, so you're gonna make camp here. So here we go. Here's our camp. We got some tents over here. Camp. All right, that's where we start. There we go. All right, then of course you do need your dots for indicating how long the rope has to be. So just draw those in with a Sharpie marker. There's one. Here we're going to go all the way to the other side. Here is the other dot. All right, got that handled. All right, then next we need our path. And I think I need a really easy way to do this is to just take a little piece of chalk, kind of sketch it out so you know what you're doing. All right, you go like this, and then you can go this way and go back. Remember, you need to be able to have that way to get up to the flyback, or what's going to be the swim back trail. So here's another option here, and then here we have the never-ending loop here, and then off to the path there. Right, then there's just going to be what I'm going to call the swim back trail on this one. So then you just simply start stamping. Now you do need a tree for this game in the direction. Now you can make your own tree with an eraser, an X-Acto knife, and there you go. You can make stamps. Hopefully this is clear. I'll put a light on that to make sure. But it is very easy to make your own tree stamp, and that's what I did. So for the trees. And then I'm using a paw print stamp for the path, but you could just use a round. You can make your own round stamp, and that would be fine too. So you're just going to stamp away here. So these are the places where the scouts land when they roll the dice. And then, all right, I think it's time for a tree. So I got my green stamp pad. Make a green stamp. Make sure to ink it nice and good. Okay, here we go. There's a tree. Not the best tree. Get my stamp pad. Needs a little more juice, maybe. Alright, try again. That's a little better. Alright, and that's how you make it. So I'll usually just stamp a few trees around here and then connect them with the paw prints. So, and you just keep going like that, and you make your game board. Right, so when you got your game board all stamped, all along here, then you do need that swim back path, or the fly back path to camp. And since you're hopefully going to be ordering those awesome fish stamps, you might as well use them for this. I think that'd be really fun. So here's a fish stamp, and that's how they're going to get back to camp after they have collected their rope from the Scoutmaster. So here we go. So that looks good. Alright. There. Alright. So through the magic, I'm going to finish this and show you what it looks like in just a minute. Alright, the game board is all done. We've got a path, and when you have points where you can go left or right, it helps maybe to put arrows on that. Remember to label or at least put a circle for your loop so you know you go around and round. And that is how you make the Cub Scout canoe game. Enjoy that. And again, all the directions are in the materials in the Hooked on Scouting and in the Screen Boosted Scouting area. Right now we're going to talk about a game called Knot Drop, and also the variation where you have your scouts do their own tie-dye rope. So here's a game card, a larger game card, but there's also this shorter, smaller game card that can be laminated and clipped to the carabiner to keep with them, and explains the directions. So how you play Knot Drop is like this, and again all these directions are on and how you tie knots are on here. So you earn points, and the first player to win 5 points wins. And so these are all the basic knots, sheep bend. We added fisherman's knot, of course, in Hooked on Scouting. So you decide your player level, and you could do a starter player level, which means you could just do 1 through 3 knots when you roll the dice. So for younger scouts, that works. Player's choice is level 2, and that is when you roll a dice. So say I roll a 6 in this game. Say I roll a 6 in this game. I'll do it there. Player's choice means I can then tie a clove hitch, or I could tie a taut line hitch plus a square knot. So that's what player's choice means. And then scout level means that the caller, that's the person that's rolling the dice, rolls the dice. Say they roll 2 dice. Okay, there's a 6. They get to decide what knot combination happens. Again, they can say clove hitch, or they can say a taut line and a square knot, or heck, they could say 5 square knots. Doesn't matter. The caller decides what's on the scout level, what's happening. And sort of if you did, there's 8. Again, that would be a sheet bend or a combination of knots. So the caller changes every round. The dice pass to the left, I believe, and the caller determines who wins. So the first person to tie the rope, the knots, drops their rope. That's why it's called knot drop, and they get the point. And the caller can award ties, and they are also the judge. So it's pretty simple. And to make it super fun, though, some stuff, right? Scouts-like stuff. So first of all, this is a device that they can clip to their backpack with a carabiner, so they always have their rope with them. So that's nice. Be prepared, do your best. Our two mottos. Fish for the Hooked on Scouting. That's nice. So then you need a good piece of rope for playing this game. So let's talk about that. So 3 feet of rope is what really works well. And this is a 3-foot section of rope. This is cotton rope. And I've dyed this rope half red and half and left the other part white, which you can do if it's an all cotton rope, because it's better when you're learning to tie knots to have one side one color, so that you can see the structure of the knot. That's really helpful. But you can also let the scouts tie-dye their own cotton rope very easily. So all you need for that are some Sharpie markers, number 1, and some alcohol. Now I'm going to show you one that I did already. You can see it. It looks kind of like a snake. And so I just banded some color and did it. It is very fun. So I will show you a sample so you can see how it works. So here's a little piece of rope that I've done. And so I'm going to just color some. Probably going to color my table, but that's because I didn't put anything down. So you just put some Sharpie on there. We want to do it. It helps to have different colors so they kind of blend together. And I'm going to put some pink on there, although I'm not sure pink and green is going to work that great. Let's see. Alright, and add a little purple. Alright, so they can spend as little or long time they want coloring their rope before the tie-dye happens. So in this bottle is alcohol, just plain old rubbing alcohol. And so then you take some and then you drip it on the rope. And what will happen is the colors will bleed all together, and it looks really fun. Alright. You see the purple works really great. And that is all there is for the scouts to make their own tie-dye rope. It'll dry really quickly, about 10-15 minutes, and you'll be ready to play knot drop with your tie-dyed ropes and your carabiner tags. Now, one thing about these are really neat. You can buy these yourself. We'll be giving the resource store for them. They are $3 each, but that's still pretty less than a cup of coffee. And it's a memento your scouts will have for a long time. It's wood. And so I hope you consider adding that to your membership activities. All right, so that is how you play knot drop and the materials that you need. And again, the directions are in the Screen Boosted Scouting area.